Hello, friends. It's been a minute since I've done a Mental Health Monday, but I've been feeling this call to return to you, the good people of the internet. So here I am. So I'm actually doing this. This is my official Zoom therapy background now. Since I used to work out of the playroom, but Elizabeth really needs to have all the space downstairs while I'm up here working, or while I'm working in general. So now this is where I do my very deep therapy work on my bedroom floor. I had a cancellation, and I just was feeling inspired to share this nugget of wisdom for whoever is out there listening and needs to hear it. So part of what you do as a therapist is you do this dance of relationship building, of offering skills, offering reflections, offering sort of like a path to healing. Like, this is what we're going to do. We're going to try this technique. We're going to do this, do that. But what I feel like I am discovering in my old age, in my old therapist age, is that and I think that I knew this, but I promise this has a point to what is going to be relevant for you. What I've learned is that it's the human connection that makes all of those pieces work. And part of that human connection when you're working with somebody is to do a little bit of, in my opinion, I don't know, other therapists out there watching, I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, but it's to do a little bit of disclosure, like offering a little piece of your own story to help that build that relationship, or offer some sort of reflection, help that person feel understood, whatever. So I had that today while I was working with somebody who, I was listening to their story and what they were saying, and it was just reminding me of what, I have been through, ways how I used to choose to react to things, coping skills that I used to reach for that I don't reach for anymore. So I sort of reflected that back to her. I was like, I just have to tell you, this is what's coming up for me. I was like, and I totally realize this is not my space, it's yours, but I think this is actually in service of your own healing, is to kind of hear a little bit about, this and other thing. So I was sharing with her how when I was on the other side of the chair, and I mean, I've been on the other side of the chair many a time, but kind of in her similar stage of life, how I couldn't imagine reacting to something in a different way than the way I was reacting to it. I know that sounds really vague and whatever, but I couldn't imagine my world looking or feeling any different than the way that it was. So I was listening to her and I was like, man, I remember feeling that way. So I'm sort of reflecting that to her and being like, this is what this experience was like for me. Obviously, we've been through two different things, or a lot of different things, but this is what helped me. And this is why I wanted to come on here and talk to you all today, is I was sharing with her, I couldn't imagine 10 or 15 years ago being able to sit with myself in my own feelings. That sounds crazy, right? It sounds crazy to me, being where I am now and being being able to build up that skill. But there was a really long time in my life when I was actively avoiding feeling. And you can fill in the blank with what I would do instead of actually doing the thing that I needed to do in order to heal or feel better in the moment, which is just sitting with and acknowledging what I am experiencing right then and there, instead of choosing to numb or distract or whatever. So I was thinking about that today, and I was talking with my person today about what my experience was like with that, and I felt like I needed to open it up to the greater people of the internet and do a little exercise with you, because I know that so much of what we as people are still experiencing right now, right? Like, remember when I first started doing these things back in April or whenever that was, my mental health Mondays, to help us get through, because like I wasn't coping very well. So I was like, how are you all coping? And we've had these waves of like busyness and things that like we would all, or a lot of people would do to distract themselves, like cleaning out closets and do sourdough starters. And like now it's like, let's all make hot chocolate bombs and let's do like this and that. And like some of it is just like fun. And some of it is just like we need to find some joy and release in life. But the therapist in me, look at my therapist stance. My therapist in me is like, but what else is there that you aren't also inviting to the table? And that can be if you aren't used to having to tolerate that experience of just like sitting and noticing and paying attention to like what's coming up when you create that space. You don't want to be doom and gloom, but it can be a little overwhelming or a little like, ooh, scary. Like, what is there? I don't know. Like, I'm just too busy doing all these other things, or I'm just like, anyway. So I want to do a little exercise with you today. You know, I'm making you work. I'm not just going to like chit chat with you. So I want you to find a comfortable spot. And if like you have your children running around you, or you are at work, or you are driving, like obviously now is maybe not the time. Like revisit this when you have, you know, a couple minutes to yourself. But I want you to just sit. I want you to find a comfortable spot. I want you to, whatever, just sit or lay or whatever. And I just want you to take a couple deep breaths. That's kind of all where we're going to start today. It's just taking a few deep breaths together. All right, here we go. We're going to breathe in. And I want you to just notice whatever you're noticing. So this especially like those of you who are trained in EMDR, right? Like what do we say after the breaths? We say, what are you noticing now? Or we're saying, what are you getting? So what are you getting, people of the internet? Just by taking those 3 deep breaths, what came up for you? Or what words were flashing? Or what images were flashing? Or what like body sensations were you noticing? And I just want you to notice that as we like continue to take a couple more deep breaths. So just notice whatever it is you're noticing and just go with that for a few more deep breaths. And blink your eyes open. And again, what are you noticing now? Let's do it one more time. Let's hold that intention or hold that feeling or that thought. Let's take 3 more deep breaths together. Here we go. Now let your eyes blink open. And again, what are you noticing now? And I do this exercise with you because I think that it's really easy for us to like blow off, those of you who don't like practice, meditation or mindfulness or breathing, to like blow off how powerful that can be when we actually like take a step back and just check in. So this technique can be useful just for like daily use, right? To just get in a practice of carving out some space, whether it's 1 minute or 5 minutes, to just like do some breathing and just notice whatever is coming up. This can also be part of like a bigger practice when you find yourself feeling triggered in some way. Again, use like my therapist language, have my therapist hat on. When you're feeling unsettled, or when you're feeling like upset, or you're feeling like, and you don't know like what it is, like what is it? I don't know. Like, do I take the time to explore it? Do I not? So like this would be if you're feeling the nudge to kind of like be like, what the hell is going on with me? This is like a pretty good way to explore that. So that is what I want to leave you with. I know it was a long roundabout way to like get to my explanation. Oh, my mom just came up to get Emmett because he is fussing in his crib. But I think that 15 years ago, if you would have told me like, hey, if you're feeling upset or you're feeling like triggered or whatever, like, why don't you just sit and breathe? I would have been like, yeah, okay. So let me give you that message now. Oh, sorry, I got a little battery. That like through all my, my long and arduous journey, I'm on the other side. And like that is something that I can access to help. And I want you all to be encouraged to have that too, because when you are able to build that muscle of like sitting and thinking, or not even thinking, just sitting and feeling and noticing, it becomes easier and easier to be able to connect with yourself rather than like numbing and distracting and whatever. But like, this is what I feel like we need as a society and as people, to like heal, to notice and heal and see like where our pain points are and what's coming up and what's triggering us and all of that. Like, this is how you do it. All you have to do is sit and breathe and listen and pay attention and create the space for whatever it is to come forward. Sound good? So as always, I appreciate your time and your listening. I hope this was useful for you. Perhaps this was a reminder from the universe through me to tell you to take the time to sit and listen to yourself and see what it is that you're feeling. So let me know if this is useful to you. I'm feeling kind of like the pull to offer these to my friends here on the internet more often. So I guess I'm back in action. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time.